Imagine walking into a dive bar. I mean, a real whole wall. Oh, yeah, the kind where air is probably stale, maybe recycled 1,000 times. Exactly. It's called the Last Gulp, which is already a pretty grim name for a pub in a dying city like Zion. Very grim. You scan the room past the gloom and you see her. Enya from Stellar Blade. And it's not just that she's there, it's the state of her. I think for a lot of players, the first time you see this character, it's genuinely disturbing. It really is. We're so used to video game NPCs standing around looking pristine, maybe wanting to sell you a potion. Yeah, but Enya is visceral. Visceral is the perfect word. She's physically devastated. Devastated doesn't even cover it. I mean, everything below the sternum is just gone, missing entirely. Just a mess of wires and sparks. Yeah, and she's jerking with these glitchy, spasmodic movements, like her software is misfiring. She can't even speak. She's just humming this mournful tune over and over. Right. Well, she's hooked up to this jury rigged life support system that looks like it's held together with duct tape and, well, hope, which creates this immediate, compelling mystery. Because in the world of Stella Blade, that is incredibly common. People die for much less than losing half of their body. Yet here is Enya, literally half a person, just refusing to let go. It forces you to stop and ask, why is she still here and how? This is exactly what we are unpacking today. Because on the surface, Enya is just a sad side quest. Find parts, fix her up, get a reward. Standard RPG stuff, right? But there is much more, and we have gone through the deep lore, the stuff hidden in translation differences, obscure item descriptions, and the developer's own inspirations in another video. Today, I would like to talk again about the obvious connection to the manga Battle Angel Alita, and then, which is honestly my favorite part, a scientific paper from 1960. Yeah, that actually invented the word cyborg. Yes. And just a quick heads up for everyone listening. The original definition of a cyborg in that paper has absolutely nothing to do with Terminators or laser eyes. Nothing at all. It's actually about space travel and, surprisingly, freedom. So, our mission in this deep dive is to find the soul in the machine. So, let's do it. You cannot look at Enya, a broken female cyborg found in a scrap heap by a protective male figure, without thinking of Alita, Battle Angel. It is impossible to miss, and to their credit, the developers of Stellar Blade haven't tried to hide it. They've been very open. They've explicitly cited the manga Gun, which is the original Japanese name for Alita, as their Bible for this game. There's even that Easter egg in the Edo 7 level, bar 99. Correct. The number 99 is a leader's jersey number in the sport of motorball. It's a direct nod. But the parallels go way beyond just slapping a number on the wall. The narrative arcs are total mirrors of each other. Let's trace it. In Alita, whether the movie or the manga, Dr. Ido finds her head and chest in the scrapyard of Iron City, discarded, literally garbage. Just like Sue finds Enya in the ruins. And Dr. Ido rebuilds her using a body he was saving for his dead daughter, which creates this very paternal, protective, maybe slightly creepy dynamic, which matches Sue and Enya perfectly. Sue is the protector who rebuilds her. He's the one out there scavenging parts. In both cases, the female character has total amnesia, right? Alita wakes up, she has no idea who she is. She only knows two things. She likes oranges and she knows Panzerkunst, a fighting art. Yes, she has a fighting instinct. Enya has a singing instinct. She remembers the song. That's her tether to the world. Exactly. In both stories, the body is temporary, the memory is gone. The only thing persisting is a specific skill or drive deeply embedded in the core. It forces us to ask, if you take away the biology and you wipe the hard drive of memories, where is the person? What is the self that's left? It's the ghost in the shell question. Is there a ghost, or is it just complex coding simulating a ghost? And that brings us to the word we keep using today, cyborg. In pop culture, we use it for everything. Iron Man is a cyborg. The Terminator is a cyborg. Darth Vader is a cyborg. Sure, robot parts plus human parts equals cyborg. That's the math we all learned. But scientifically and philosophically, there's a distinction, and it's a distinction that explains Enya's struggle perfectly. We need to look at a paper from 1960 I mentioned earlier. This is the one that always surprises people. I know I was surprised. I always assumed cyborg was a science fiction word invented by some novelist in the 80s. Most people do. But it was actually coined by two scientists, Manfred Kleins and Nathan Klein, for a paper entitled Cyborgs and Space. And they weren't trying to build super soldiers. Not at all. They were trying to solve a logistics problem for NASA because space is hard to live in. That was the core problem. Space is lethal. And their argument was this: currently, to put a man in space, we have to build a bubble of Earth around him. We have to carry oxygen, pressure, gravity, temperature control, food, waste disposal. The spaceship is basically just a tiny, heavy Earth that we drag along with us. It's wildly inefficient. You're spending all your energy just keeping the environment stable, hugely inefficient. So Kleins and Klein propose an alternative. Don't change the ship, change the man. Exogenously extended organizational complex. That was their official definition, right? That's the mouthful, yes, but the concept is brilliant. They wanted to create a cyborg, a cybernetic organism that could handle its own life support unconsciously. So if your body creates its own oxygen or regulates its own temperature in a vacuum, you don't even need a spacesuit. Exactly. So the goal wasn't power, it was about punching through concrete walls. No, the goal was liberation. That's the key word. The original cyborg was about being free from the environment. So if you're a cyborg, you can literally walk on the moon in your jeans. You aren't a slave to the need to breathe or eat. You're free to explore, to create, to think. That's a really hopeful vision. It is. But how does that connect to Stella Blade? Because when I look at Anya in that bar, she doesn't look liberated. She looks like she's suffering. That's the dark irony the game plays with. The android warriors in the game are the ultimate realization of that 1960s dream. They don't age. They don't need oxygen. They're perfect space explorers. But are they free? Clearly not. they're getting slaughtered by monsters, or they're trapped in loops acting out old operas, or they're paralyzed because their legs got blown off. Exactly. The technology that was supposed to liberate them has just created entirely new ways for them to be trapped. And this brings us to the definition of humanity. In Alita, there's a big debate about the threshold. Yeah, how much can you replace before you aren't human anymore? Take Alita. She has a human brain, that's it. Her heart is an antimatter reactor. Her body is berserker metal. Is she human? I think most audiences watch the movie and immediately say yes, because she cries, because she falls in love, she cares about people. But flip the scenario. Imagine a creature with a perfectly human biological body, liver, lungs, blood, skin, but the brain is a microchip. Is that human? No, that's a meat puppet. That's a zombie. So we automatically locate the soul in the brain. But Teleblade challenges even that because Anya might not have a human brain at all. She might be fully synthetic code. And yet her suffering feels real. Her dependency on Sue feels real. It's the meat versus metal bias. We talked about this regarding the violence in Alita, the double standard. And it is fascinating to watch how we react to injuries in these stories. In Alita and in Stellar Blade, you see cyborgs getting absolutely shredded. That guy in the movie gets his face sliced off. It slides right off his skull, and the audience is like, whoa, cool effects. We're just eating popcorn. We don't wince at all. We treat it like watching a car wash. Metal breaking doesn't trigger our empathy neurons. But then remember the character Chiren, the doctor's wife? Yeah, that scene haunts me. She gets harvested, and we see her distinctly biological human eyes and brain sitting in a jar of fluid. It's disgusting. It turns your stomach. I remember looking away. Why? The cyborg is a person. Chiron is a person. Both are being destroyed, but we are biologically programmed to value the wetware. We see meat, we feel empathy. We see metal, we feel nothing. Which is exactly why Anya's character design is so incredibly effective when you first meet her. She's so damaged that she almost looks like meat. She looks exposed, vulnerable. It forces you to emphasize with the machine in a way you usually wouldn't. It totally breaks that bias. And once you break that bias, you start listening to what she's actually saying or singing, and that leads to the resolution of her story. And I think this is the most philosophical part of the whole game. Enya gets fixed. She can walk, she can sing, but she doesn't get her memory back. No, she doesn't. And more importantly, she stops trying. She makes a choice. She decides that the song Beyond Fate is enough. She stops looking backward. She reinterprets the song not as a memory of who she was, but as a manifesto for who she is now. There's a strong warning here from the analysis of transhumanism. Yes, transhumanism. The idea of using technology to upgrade humanity is usually totally obsessed with optimization, being smarter, faster, living longer. We want to be gods. We want the ultimate upgrade. We want to be limitless. But let me ask you this. If you are limitless, if every single part of you can be replaced, upgraded, and changed, do you lose your definition? If you can be anything, do you end up being nothing? It's like if you have no boundaries, you have no shape, you're just a cloud. Enya represents the exact opposite of that. She accepts her finitude. She accepts I am broken. I have no past. I am a machine that sings this one song. And in accepting that limit, she becomes real. She becomes an individual. She isn't just an interchangeable part anymore. She's Enya. It's a beautiful paradox. The machine gains a soul by accepting its limits, while humans often lose their souls by trying to become limitless machines. That hits hard. We are all running around trying to optimize our lives, hacking schedules, upgrading our phones, and here's this robot teaching us that it's okay to just be what you are, even if what you are is a little broken. Beyond Fate isn't about escaping your condition, it's about accepting it and finding beauty right there. So if we zoom out for a second and we have Enya acting out her opera script, and we have Alita finding her humanity in a scrapyard, and we have the 1960s space explorers trying to leave Earth behind, it all circles back to the ancient riddle, the ship of Theseus. If you replace every plank on a ship one by one, is it still the same ship? And based on everything we've talked about today, I want to leave you, dear listener, with a question, a deeply personal one. If I offered you the Alita package right now, we take your brain, or maybe just your consciousness, and we put it in a synthetic body. You're immortal. You never get tired. No more back pain. You're faster, stronger, better looking, but you'll never feel the wind on your skin the same way. You'll never feel a real heartbeat in your chest. Would you do it? That is the ultimate test. And if you say yes, ask yourself, what exactly are you saving? Are you preserving your humanity, or are you just preserving your survival? Because, as Enya shows us, surviving isn't the same thing as living, and sometimes the cracks in the hull, the broken parts, are the only things that let the light in. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, dear Cogitantes. Go listen to that song, Beyond Fate. It definitely hits different now. We'll see you in the next one. Happy gaming!